Peace, Queen. How
Hi,
you be?
I'm good. Let me lower this. How are you?
All is well, my way. All is well. How are you?
Sorry, I'm not made up and stuff. Yeah,
All is well. All is well. You look good to me. So
thank
let
you.
me know what's going. Let me know what's going on with this situation, man. Like I said, I caught your comments yesterday, and it kind of caught me by surprise. Where is he talking about Negro's mother and sister at, and why does that upset you so much?
Because he don't know them. You know what I'm saying? And fuck Negro. You know what I'm saying? It's beyond Negro. The fact that he talks about my aunt and my cousin like he know them. He met Monica that one time when they all went to go see who he was. And at that time, Alpo told him he's only claiming basically he's only claiming the two sons that he knows about. And that was the end. He doesn't know about the family events where his name was brought up. He don't know about the different things that happened personally that he wasn't there for. And talking about my grandmother this and all this. He never laid eyes physically on that lady.
Wow.
He goes around and talk about I'm just some chick his grandmother brought in. That's not true. My grandmother and Alpo mom is sisters of the same litter. My great grandmother had 9 children, two baby daddies, if you want to say, or whatever. But my grandmother and his mom comes from the Martinez tribe, and then there's the Morales tribe. 9 of them. Alpo's mom is the first sister. That's the head queen in charge. My grandmother is the last sister of the Martinez, and then comes the Morales litter. That's what I call it, litter. So that, and then my grandmother house was the spot everybody used to come to on the weekends, get drunk, do whatever the case may be. My grandmother is the one that brought Alpo his first motorcycle. So when you see him on the motorcycles in that bike life, that's comes from my grandmother. No,
Absolutely.
yeah, I frequent my aunt house damn near every weekend. You would have thought I lived there, but no, she didn't take me in, and I know who he's talking about. I'm gonna refrain from the name. It was Monica's friend. Her mom's passed away, and so my aunt became a second mother to her. And the reason why he brought her up is because remember, if you've been looking at what I've been talking about this paparazzi Poe, and I told you guys he was trying to attach himself to distant family members, right? First he did with my cousin Stephanie. She's a part of the tribe. Her father is the brother, is my uncle. She used to believe that shit, but she's not distant, but she lives far away, so she doesn't have constant interaction with us like how I do, how I did. Well, still do. I still do. You know.
Absolutely.
So I said it before. Some people on the outskirts that's not there every day and stuff like that kind of believe it because they're online looking at this dude talking about his family and shit like that. So when Monica passed away, you know, when anybody in the family passed away, people come far and wide to pay respects, to be there as a family, this, that, and the third. He was hitting her up. A lot of the information, the little bit of knowledge or some of the knowledge that he does have did come from her. She got checked at the gate. And that's what started the announcement to the rest of the family. And that was before my aunt died. Mind you, Monica and my aunt passed away 4 days from each other. It was back to back,
My
back to
condolences.
back. So when Monica passed away, that was the initial family announcement that this nigga wasn't Alpo's son. Out of the horse's mouth, Negro. I'm sorry, I call him Negro. Alpo just doesn't run smooth off my tongue like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So before that, they spoke on each other. They was really in tune with each other, shit like that. But when she asked Negro that, Negro told her, listen, that's not my son. That was then. Okay, that was before the King Erna situation, all of that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right after that, the next time he got in contact with her, she told him, listen, he's saying that he's not your father. So even if he want to pretend like he didn't know before that, he knew then at that moment. He knew then. And that was before King Erna. That was before all that shit. And not only did she tell him, she cut ties from the dude. They stopped interacting with each other. He borrowed money from her at one point, never paid it back or anything like that, but she left it alone because she not hard up on it. So that's what that was. And then after the Stephanie situation, he got in contact with somebody else that's not blood related. But the only reason why I'm not violating this chick like that is because she carried the last name. Now we East Side, for real, for real. Everybody talk about Spanish Harlem, shit like that. My great grandmother, when she came from Puerto Rico, she first went to Brooklyn. That's when she had the firstborn son, Uncle Frankie, which Negro looked just like.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of that nigga so much. They have differences, but they have a lot of similarities, even the sound of their voice. That's why when anybody can have a tape or audio and shit like that, I know that voice because that's not only Negro's voice. That's Uncle Frankie. That's all my other uncles even his mother. You hear his mother and certain things that he say. It's creepy almost. After they lived in Brooklyn for that short time, they moved to Spanish Harlem on 115th Street between Lexington and Park Avenue. Right now, they got different buildings, but back in the day, it was tenement buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she had brought her older kids and had the rest of the 9 children. And that's when they met the Allende family. And they was on each other's weddings. Even though we wasn't blood related, we family. Even to this day, I still have the little youngins. They come and spend the night in my house with my kids. Because technically, I'm the one who still try to keep the family together because there's so much of us, so many of us. Okay? On 115th Street and Lexington Avenue, across the street from Johnson. Until my grandmother, she married, they moved to the Bronx for a little while, but then they came back to Spanish Harlem, and that's when we lived in Johnson. So no, his mother never took me in. But who he's talking about is Monica's friend. Her mother passed away. And the reason why this distant family member, which is a Allende, but she's not an honorable Allende. I'm not going to reveal that at this moment in time. Hopefully this nigga don't have to push my hand. But trust me, she's going to get dealt with. And him. And they're not going to like it. She's not an honorable Allende. And if Popperazi, Randy, because I can't call him Poe. if he understood the history behind all that shit and was this and what truly his son and a part of the family and all this other shit, he wouldn't be fucking with her either.
Word.
And I'm gonna let that be that. But I know why she told him that. And I'll tell you that. I'll give you guys that. Because she's a thirst bucket. Right? And she tried to call Alpo. And every time she'll call Alpo, he'll put TT on the phone. Monica's friend. Dubbing her shit. The last time she got mad and tried to bark on her, and Negro came on the phone and barked on her. And that was the last conversation they ever fucking had. So I don't know if how he's conveying the story to her or whatever the case may be, and then she's in her feelings about that interaction or whatever the case may be. But he got the people confused. And if you're family, you wouldn't have it confused. You know who's who.
Absolutely. Okay. He's maintaining that him and Alpo never had that conversation. He basically called Poe a liar. He said, "Listen, man, after hearing the audio, that is, having a civil conversation where at first it was violent. The nigga says, well, you know, with all due respect, me and him, we never had that conversation. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what he's talking about." I said, man, King Erner and Queen's Flip, they both got on that show and acknowledged the fact that what he said was true about the situation and him calling and everything else. So everything was true outside of what he said, but him telling you not to tell people that you was his son. And he said, yeah, man, we never had that conversation, man. So I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Look at the timeline. Even if, let's give this nigga the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's walking out here clueless, right? Mm-hmm. Which I know for a fact that's a lie too. Because he was told from jump he wasn't his son, or Negro wasn't acknowledging him as his son. Now you're looking at the King Erna. Look at the timeline. That King Erna situation happened after my aunt passed away. Well after. Mm-hmm. Stephanie told him. I just been telling you Stephanie's story. Mm-hmm. And from that moment on, she never dealt with him before. After that. And that was before my aunt passed. That small window before my aunt passed. Let me hit you with something else, right? Monica passed away from cancer. While she was still healthy enough, she had like basically a family reunion, so to speak. Not in the traditional sense where you at a park or something like that, but like a family reunion. She invited everybody. I didn't even know some of the people that was there. I'm meeting for the first time. I told you my family is huge, so the OGs, they had kids, they grandkids. I'm meeting a lot of cousins in situations for the first time my damn self. All of us brought up, where were you if they met you and already acknowledged the fact that you his son? Why wasn't you there? Let's go after that. The New Year's situation, New Year's, baby showers, just being on the block on East River. Where were you? If you, nephew, family, all of that. Because especially when Monica was having that family reunion when she wanted all of us to be there. And that was after y'all met each other. So why you didn't get that invite? Mm-hmm. I told you, I'm meeting people for the first time I never thought was my family. And these are the OGs and their kids coming. I got cousins I fucking met for the first time that's my age. Kids that I'm meeting that's the same age as my fucking kids. Where were you if you the nephew? When you think she will want you there, especially her knowing that she doesn't have that much time on here. See, my aunt passing, that was the surprise. But Monica passing, we knew that was coming.
The audio is getting kind of fuzzy. Pardon self. I'm my back audio? Here. My audio? Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me now? It's very robotic.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to do.
If you I'm in the background right now trying to fix it and see what it says. The echo cancellation is on. Automatically adjust mic volume is on. Okay. Boom.
Can you
Hello?
hear me now? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hey, audience, let me ask the audience, how does she sound to you guys? It may just be on my end. Does it sound a little bit robotic, or is the audio okay? Somebody give me an indication. Pretty according to Chandra. Give me an indication of how the audio is. Mr. Morris says it's clear. Clear? Thumbs up. She's fine to me. Okay, let's go then. I apologize. Pardon yourself.
No, it's okay. So he been knew that was the situation. See, that's the thing with niggas these days. They don't like politeness. They don't like motherfuckers coming to you man to man and telling you some shit. They don't accept that. They respect disrespect.
Absolutely.
Now, God forbid, if Negro would have did something to any one of them, whether it was Popperazi, Poe, or King Erna, then the pun would be like, oh, he didn't have to do that. Why he did it like that? But you didn't respect the fact that he was calm and telling you. Not only he told you, cousins told you, other people told you that that's what it was. Even your beloved brother told you.
Right on.
So why are we having a fucking discrepancy? Mind you, after the King Ernest situation, y'all didn't notice that nigga was quiet? It wasn't nothing about, oh, that's my father, and none of that shit up until the exact day he died. And us as the family looking at this nigga like, we get the commentary from the public because everybody have mixed emotions. There's love, there's hate, people cheering. We get that. We overstood that. That never was a problem or issue for us because we overstood the magnitude of his life and what that meant to individuals. You either gonna love him, hate him, whatever the case may be. That never was the issue. Even on Clubhouse, when I'm sitting on those stages and people want to be like snitch this or whatever the case may be, that never triggered me. The fact that you're talking about him is enough. Absolutely. But you're talking about him. No matter what you say that was wrong or what you think you know, you're still talking about him. So in hindsight, that's actually keeping his legacy alive. So we're not mad at that. But that nigga is another type of demon or whatever the case may be, because you know. You was told many a times by different people in the fucking family, and you was quiet because that was the last straw. That was the foot down, we threatening your life situation, and you was quiet. You was quiet. So the day he died, now you want to take to social media and news outlets and this, that, and talk about, oh, my father left me. And now you want to sit here and have my fucking aunt's name in your mouth and she never laid eyes on you. She don't know you. She didn't know you. So what are you talking about my grandmother? My grandmother what? I used to roll my aunt's hair. We used to all go to Puerto Rico together. She used to call me out the window while we hanging out, being fast ass girls, come roll my hair. That's how I know how to do hair, because she was a licensed beautician. That's how I know how to do pineapple curls and shit like that. I used to run to her house when things was getting too thick in my house. Because she was that fucking cool. She was an awesome fucking lady. And for you to sit there and talk about her and act like you know her, talk about Monica and act like you know her, like you was there, you was never there. Before, during, or after.
Absolutely. 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 I see you passionate.
It's just annoying now. It's just annoying. And then not only that, you sitting here telling lies about the individuals that's real based off of somebody who is fake. And the only reason why I didn't go ham on the situation out of respect for the real Alendes.
Word.
Because the next generation of Alendes be in my house with my sons.
Happy
And
Mother's
if
Day,
you
by the way.
knew, like, and if he knew, I'm gonna just say this and I'm gonna shut up. If he knew like how I know, you wouldn't be there or be fucking with that outsider to begin with. Cause we don't.
Word.
In our land. It's just annoying. Like you making a mockery. Like, come on, man. Everything you fucking love about Alpo and shit like that, the good side, that came from the family as a collective. Like I said, everybody's talking about, oh, he ride bikes and he was on it. My grandmother bought him his first fucking motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Every time Negro would see me, he would always say, your mother, they was raised like sisters. My mother and him was raised like brothers and sisters. Y'all think he's so tough? My mother used to bully this nigga when they was younger. And that's no cap. And I'm not even saying that to try to tarnish whatever, but whatever tough guy you think Alpo is, that came from my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So every time my mother comes, she's the goon, even though she hates being called that, but you hear that shit when she walk by and motherfuckers be whispering and shit. Every time I wear my hair in an afro, oh, you look just like your mom. Everything was my mom. All this other shit. Every time he saw me.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
Niggas talking about, oh, he don't. You should see his other son. Shit, you should see my sons.
What you talking about, Rico? From what you call Rico?
Yeah. You should
They
see
both
my
look like
sons.
you.
Talking about somebody looking like that nigga don't look like nobody in the family. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, shit, you should see my sons. My sons look like younger versions of Negro.
The bloodline strong then.
Come on, man. What the fuck are y'all talking about here? And you playing, I get it. People feel some type of way, but you playing with my fucking bloodline. See, when other niggas be like the snitch shit and shit like that, you're not playing with my bloodline. Y'all going off or whatever the case may be. Niggas don't even mention my aunt or Monica, none of that shit. And none of that shit wasn't happening until this nigga. And every time he says something about them or whatever, want to act or play pretend and shit like that, I'm thinking about all those dope ass moments me and my aunt shared. And the rest of us, it's not that feel like this. The rest of the family do. I want my family every fucking week. And we all saying the fucking same thing. It's not just coming from me. It's just I'm the only one with this type of platform. I'm the only one that be in Clubhouse. When he was on Clubhouse that day, there was other family members in that fucking building with the hats on. I'm a new Clubhouse member hats.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the fucking voice to this shit. And they telling me to, relax, be careful. Because they know how niggas be doing shit. And now, I guess my shit transcended to the street shit because we're talking about Negro or Alpo or whatever the case may be. I'm like, I'm cool. But I feel like the only reason why I started to say anything because I got permission from my family.
Absolutely.
I got permission to say whatever. We talked about it as a fucking unit. Even with the Gumby interview, Stephanie was in the building. She was about to go on. But I didn't need her to go on because enough was already fucking said. And I was thinking that was enough. But you still want to play. Which made me think I should have fucking pulled her up on the live. Because she was definitely there. I told her to pull up. Because I'll interview her and we could talk about that situation, how she told him he's saying that he's not your father. And she stepped away from the situation. She stepped away. So he latched himself to somebody else. That's even more distant. That's not even the fucking same bloodline. And even shout out to the Allende, because there's no shit against them, but she's not even an honorable Allende.
So do you have knowledge that he's being told out of Poe's mouth that he's not his son, though? I understand you saying
Stephanie. Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry because my computer's here, but the camera's here. Yes. Mm-hmm. We knew it before you knew it. Before he was able to talk to you about that video recording and shit like that, we been knew it. Mm-hmm. And then when that whole King Ernest shit happened, we was there in the Bronx. In the so-called TT, that she's not even blood family and shit like that, or whatever the case may be, was in her house when this discussion was happening. And even though she may not be blood or whatever the case may be, my aunt did take her in or whatever, she's more family than that bitch you trying to co-sign with. She's there. She was there. She was always there. And she's older than me, so she probably got more illa stories and illa pictures and illa videos than me, because that was Monica's best friend.
So in hindsight, he is latching himself on to blood relatives in order to poach them for information, in order to make himself look more like a blood relative or whatnot.
Yes. It goes even worse than that, because he's creating social media pages posing as Alpo. He did that on Facebook, which gained a huge following, which everybody from the East Side. So that's him. That was Popperazi Poe this whole time. And now he's doing that shit on Instagram with the official Alpo Martinez page. Mm-hmm. So when people seeing that shit, they thinking it's probably one of us that's doing it, you know, to keep his thing alive. But no, niggas is feeding this nigga information. See, Facebook is worse because in the comment section, you could post throwback pictures. You could talk about, be long-winded about situations and things that happened in the 80s or whatever. I remember watching a comment where somebody brought up my mom. Or I remember we used to chill on 112th Street, you and Nadine. My mother's name is Nadine. And I even feel crazy even talking about this right now because I feel like I'm feeding him now. So what? That everybody check today's date and this timestamp from this interview. And then look at the next interview after this, whatever he says, whatever. I feel like I'm feeding this nigga more information.
So if he says any of this, he got this directly from Cha-Cha Mystique.
Exactly. He says, oh, I'm from Johnson. How you from Johnson? I'm from Johnson. I come from the same building as G-Dub. G-Dub grandmother used to sell ices. She was the icy lady. All my life. Mm-hmm. Who's your mother? My mother had me when she was 16. My aunt Negra is younger than my mother by 2 years. My aunt took me everywhere. She had to. Take Cha-Cha with, you know, because she young. You know how you take your little brother, sister, whatever. But for me, it was aunt and niece. So your mother has to be that same age range. Who's your mother? You talking about you went to 57, but then in the other interview, you talking about you moved to the Bronx. And if my memory, me being a parent, serves me correct, your school is based off your district of where you live. So how are you in the Bronx, living in the Bronx, but going to 57? Now, everybody knows what PS 57 is. Everybody. That's not rocket science, especially if you're from Harlem, especially if you're from the East Side. So you went to 57. You mean to tell me okay, your mother, that fuck Negro, in the 80s, don't know. My aunt didn't tell you that his aunt Your alleged father's aunt lived in this building right there on the fucking strip. Not only that, you said you went to 57 on the other side of 57 on 115th Street. Because remember what I said? My family's from 115th Street. On the other side of 57, Alpo's mom used to chill there with the old timers every fucking weekend. We'll be in, like I told you before, my grandmother was the spot. My grandmother's house was the spot. All the brothers and sisters would be over there. All the nieces and all this other shit, cousins, that was putting that in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother, all this time, your mother didn't have the decency to introduce you to my mother, which would still be kind of more easier than a mother. My grandmother that sits in front of the building every time it gets nice, that everybody knows. And if your alleged grandmother, not her either, when she's sitting on the other side of PS 57 with the old timers, the rest of them, if she wasn't there, she was in my grandmother's house. All the birthday parties that we had in front of my building, Johnson Day, all that shit. Your mother didn't pop up not once. We don't even know who the fuck she is. Then you out here lying about a DNA test and all of that. Who are you, my nigga? And that's why I said, I think this nigga is almost like you got something to do with it. Because who are you? You lying so hard. You was quiet on that last straw with King Erna. You was quiet. Nobody heard of. Even if you did post something, it wasn't about Alpo being your dad. I guarantee you that. You wasn't doing interviews and none of that shit. And if you did, they must have been like super low level because nobody heard of it. But we see you now after he died. The same day he died. Who the fuck are you, my nigga? You sitting out here talking about, oh, my aunt and my grandmother. My aunt, I asked my grandmother, do she know who you are? She told, so everybody's lying but you? My aunt's lying? Monica's lying. Alpo's lying. I'm lying. Really? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Who the fuck are you really, my nigga? Because I'm side-eyeing you with my eyes squinted. Like, there's more to this than meets the eye. Because ain't no way nobody could fucking be that delusional unless it's seriously mental illness here. And for that, you need a doctor, my nigga. You need a serious doctor. It's either that or it's something strange in the neighborhood. It is. It is. It's something strange in the fucking neighborhood. Who the fuck are you? Because if you some next shit, you around family getting force-fed information, and now I gotta keep eye on you to make sure that my fucking family is safe. I don't give a fuck how anybody else feel about Negro. I could give a fuck. Because I don't know Alpo. I don't know that nigga. I know Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck are you?
Let me ask this. Just for my own clarity purposes. You don't know who his mother is at all.
At all.
Not her name, nothing.
Nothing.
God damn.
And the fact that you're lying about it,
like I said, I know who she is and every fucking thing. Like that's weak. That is suspicious. You know what I'm saying? You're right. That's suspicious.
Exactly. Who the fuck are you, my nigga? You're not who you say you are, man. And I study this nigga. He lies about a lot of shit outside of my family situation. You lie about a lot of shit, man. And the fact that you lying about a DNA test further lets me know. Because when you was on Made in South or whatever the fuck that platform is with the Asian dude, You got niggas thinking that there was a DNA test. You know how else I know it was how you lying to niggas that it was a DNA test? Like I said, I do media. I get invited to events. Dope Chef, because if you look at Gumby's interview, I'm wearing a Dope Chef t-shirt, and I put that shit on purpose. I went to like this, shout out to Misty Blanco. She was a part of making the band. She had like this event for upcoming artists and wanted people, invited people like me and other media outlets to come and critique the artists that she had on there, or whatever the case may be. And Dope Chef sponsored the situation. He came in there with like those little basketball, them basketball book bags with the string, and it's like material that scrunches up on top. And then it came with t-shirts that said Dope Chef on it. So I smoked cigarettes. There was like in between process, I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and here come this nigga. He asks me for a cigarette. And I don't know if he knows who I am, but he just started talking about this nigga out of fucking nowhere. Yeah, I manage Popperazi Pole, either manage or got something to do with this nigga. And I'm looking at this nigga like, okay, a word. Because we don't go around talking about, oh, I'm Alpo's fam. We don't do that. And it's not because we scared. We got our own fucking success in our own right. There's other people that are super famous, legendary, iconic, especially in hip hop, that you wouldn't even know. We don't. That's not how we look for clout or anything like that. Especially if we're doing something in the masses like that. No, you can never fucking judge my success based off of who I'm related to. That's what this nigga do. And if he was really family, he wouldn't have did that. He would have fell in line with that too. That's another reason how I know this nigga's not family. There's other people that people talk about regularly that call legends, that is part of that fucking bloodline, but you would never know. So
do you believe Alpo was extraordinary?
I don't think extorting.
They were around each other. That is one thing that is definite.
They were, but I don't think it was extorting. I think he pay me what you want, because he admitted on Ice Coleon shit, even though he want to switch around the fucking story, he gave Negro $2,000 for that coat, to borrow that coat. This nigga talk about, oh, he was testing me. Testing you for what? Who the fuck are you? Testing you for what? He wasn't going to come up off that coat unless this nigga was getting something in return. Had nothing to do with extortion. Extortion is when a nigga come to you and got something on you and be like, well, if you want me to shut up, or if you want me to protect you, or whatever the case, the circumstance may be, if you want me to be involved, I'm going to need this. No, this nigga was thirsty. Oh, you got
it was business
your
then,
coat or whatever the case
I said
may be?
the wrong word. My bad. My apology. It was business then. Is it your take that it was a business relationship?
Exactly.
Okay.
But even then, he knew that wasn't his father. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to call it. He calls it, oh, he was testing me. He was testing me. No, you came up off that bread for that. You thought he was going to give it to you for nothing?
Word. Because, Poe, putting the Poe at the end of Popperazi is sort of using his namesake for all intents and purposes. So there was a lot of talk. Exactly. I used the word story, but it was the wrong word.
But the thing is, you're not even the reason why you using Poe had nothing to do with Poe. It was because of Shine. Bad boy Shine. That's what you're telling everybody, right? Even when you started using that name, you didn't fucking, you wasn't even talking about this nigga being your dad. One interview talking about, oh, your mother told you because you just came home from jail and all this other shit. But in another interview, you're talking about because your stepfather whipped your ass and unleashed the secret. Which one is it? Because shit like that don't have multiple levels. It's either it is or it isn't. truth don't be distorted the way it is. It's either it is or it isn't. When you talk about Zach TV coming out talking about, oh, he bust my cherry with exposing this shit, but that's only because the niggas you was fucking with had that idea in their head. And where the fuck they got it from if Negro is in jail and you already don't have no links to the family at all? You gonna buy what your mother say or your stepfather or whoever the fuck? Popperazi, you said your CO gave you that fucking name. And you was like, people should be calling you Paul because you was so fly and all this other shit. One minute you say this and another minute you saying that. And at that time, Negro was nowhere to be found. Not even a thought of being your fucking father. So how, Sway? How?
Now he's sensitive to the subject of his mother, because I put some information out that I since taken down, and that really riled him up. And one thing he said, like you said, I know he caps because he says she don't want people to know she got a son by Alpo. And in my mind, and then even out loud, I said, nigga, you run around telling everybody you Alpo's son. So if they know that's your mama, what you mean she don't want people to know?
So you disrespected your own fucking mother. Because if your mother telling you that she doesn't want people knowing that she had a baby by Alpo, which is cat, because all these bitches wish they was fucking pregnant by this nigga right now. If you know like how I know, all these motherfuckers is thirsty. Even if they fucking fuck this nigga. You know how many bitches will be like, you know I fucked him? Whether it's new school of him being out now or even throwback. My Aunt Negra, her friends, I remember when fucking my Aunt Negra passed, yo. And my aunt, Alpo's mom, was in the fucking funeral, right? And we at the funeral. So, you know, Negra's friends, all her little friends and shit was there. And they see my aunt and they saying that, oh yeah, and having all these old throwback dot stories in the cut, and I'm laughing like, you know, like you with Alpo, you got to see a lot of females' true thought sides with that nigga. I guarantee not. Like, it's classic. I mean, I thought I saw some raggedy shit in my fucking life. Nothing takes this cake. Nothing could beat the way motherfuckers was acting in his fucking presence. Nothing. So for her to say, oh, I don't want to know, you know how many bitches will fiend for that storyline? Like, are you kidding me? And even if that's so, let's give this fucktard the benefit of the doubt. Even if that shit is so, why are you disrespecting your mother?
You got a point.
If she's saying she don't want niggas to know, why are you doing the fucking most if everything is all true? So you don't even give a fuck about your moms. You really thought with all these lies and shit like that niggas is not gonna question that? Niggas was questioning that before I even said anything because it was all in my fucking comment section. All in my comment section. And then he put up a post of a blogger doing a write-up, but I could do that shit. All I need is WordPress. And be like, Alpo has 3 sons and publish that shit. Voila, it's out there. That's not valid. Somebody went up under that comment and was like, we need to hear from your moms. He was like, that's not going to happen. Why, Sway? Why? Especially when you have all these people questioning your paternity. You would think, you know, because she should know who she slept with, right? Or is that going to show how much of a whore she is?
Absolutely.
Which one is it? Come on, man. Stop fucking playing with me. and it's Cinco de Mayo.
I'm playing with my mic because my neighbor chose now to cut the fucking grass.
I'm gonna beat up and shit.
No, you good for my end. And everybody else's. We really, really appreciate you, your time, your energy. I appreciate you clearing the air.
Yeah, like I said, yo, fuck Negro. This is about my aunt, not fucking like that. Pause. I'm not saying it like just being disrespectful to Negro. I'm not saying that. But fuck that. It's about my aunt and Monica. Because she had a hand in raising me. When I'm feeling some type of way, I remember she stopped my whole fucking baby shower just to pull me to the side and allow me to tell her whatever. That's the type of relationship me and that lady had with each other. It was so real. Her taking me to go get my hair done. If she wasn't taking me to get my hair done, she was doing it. Because like I said, she's a licensed beautician. She had all that shit. Me knowing how to make oils and all that shit. Watching Soul Train in her house every fucking Saturday. Me and my cousins running around fucking East River and Wilson. She calling me out the motherfucking window just to roll her hair so she could go to the old timer spot. Her being on 115th Street. You say you from Johnson, nigga. Your grandmother was in your face the whole time. Why? Why now? And if he says any of this, notice how he never said nothing about this before. After today, if he says anything resembling this, you know he got it from me or from this situation.
Absolutely.
So who the fuck are you? Shit, that the person that he's getting information from don't even fucking know.
I know.
And I'm trying my best not to expose that situation. And it's only because out of the love of the real Allendez. Shout out to the Allende family. The real Allendez.
So, okay, let me ask you this. What do you think, aside from the notoriety he gained from, of course, being Poe's son, but at this point in the game, you know, after October 31st, 2021, what would he gain from continuing the rhetoric, you know, in your mind? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I don't understand it myself. Like I said, he told me he was picked up by the feds. Do you believe he was picked up by the feds about what happened to Poe? He told me he was indeed questioned. That's why he was so passionate about being labeled as having something to do with that situation or whatnot.
Listen, I don't know what he did with the feds. I can't speak on that. But I do believe it's the notoriety, because when you look at from the song interview, he talks about how everybody all over the world, oh, my condolences to you. It's the attention. Has nothing to do with anything else, and to boost his fucking career. You see in other interviews where he talk about how Vlad wouldn't fuck with him unless he was able to produce Alpo.
Mm-hmm. I did hear that.
All the love that he's getting around the world, because on the contrary to popular belief, niggas did love Neg. Mm-hmm. A lot of people love Neg. From all over the world, beyond fucking New York, beyond the United States of America. And when you look at this nigga in that interview and he's talking about all that other shit, you see the difference in his demeanor and shit like that when niggas supposedly reaching out to him from Canada, from London, from all these different fucking places. And it's because of that right there, Canada, London, all these Cali people knowing that he's his son, especially motherfuckers that do fuck with him, especially if they in the fucking industry. Look at how everybody's talking about Negro right now on YouTube. They're gonna want to know that so-called exclusive, thinking that this nigga got it, and he don't. They're gonna want to know or have that same type of energy. How everybody's doing numbers when they talk about Alpo, good, bad, or ugly. He wants that shit too. I mean, if you don't believe me, look at what happened when Alpo died versus K Slay. And shout out to K Slay because I'm not even trying to shit on you. But look at the difference. Good, bad, or ugly, the internet shut down completely for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at us right now. We still talking about Negro. Mm-hmm. That's never going to stop. Especially with all these new movies and things like that about to come out. Mm-hmm. This nigga's a social icon to the point where niggas, especially if you disagree with his lifestyle, want to call him a snitch. I saw something on Instagram, yo, that was hilarious to me. This dude got Alpo's jacket, not his jacket, but you know the brown Louis Vuitton Dapper Dan shit. He got that shit made in black, but instead of giving Negro the props, oh, this is the paid in full jacket. No, that's Alpo's jacket. You got remade. You just don't want to admit it because you don't want to look bad like you are Alpo lover. That's what they be saying, Alpo lovers.
Word.
And even with the snitch and he's a rat and all, but you still want to be like him. You want to fuck the type of bitches that he fucked. You want to dress like him. You want to make the money that he made because nobody never did it like him. I don't give a fuck who you want to name. AZ, Rich, anybody from any fucking where didn't do it like him at all. That's why he's such a cultural icon. Whether you love him or hate him, at the end of the day, his name is still coming out of everybody's mouths. He's still a figment of niggas' imagination, obviously, dealing with this nigga Randy. So what the fuck are we talking about here? Come on, man, that's why. All that energy surrounding this man, that's what he wants. So he could be able to do Vlad interviews. So he could be able to get certain record deals just off of that. Get the fuck out of here. Because his own family don't even do that shit. And you have legendary hip-hop artists, legendary people who did shit that you won't even know related to Negro. And did it off of just pure hustle, talent, and grit. Mm-hmm. Including me. I may not be the top media motherfucking person, but look at the type of interviews that I did that had nothing to do with Negro. Absolutely nothing. Just straight networking, hustle, and fucking grit. Mm-hmm. And now and if it wasn't for this situation, you still wouldn't even put me and Negro together. We don't roll like that. And you think Negro's the only fucking hustler? He's just the only famous one. You think Negro's the only fucking murderer? He's the only famous one. You think Negro's the only motherfucking icon legend? He's just this one over here. I mean, y'all talk about the other ones too. Niggas talk about them. But y'all don't put those people together. Y'all don't put them together. And they actually blood related. Like closely blood related. Not no distant shit, not no dishonorable shit, none of that shit.
Let me ask you this, not to change the subject at all. How do you feel about Alpo saying that Jim Jones sent a blood mission at him or whatnot? Because that's what I was doing on the sideline. I've been following what I call the blood trail. Ever since he said that to me, it piqued my interest. Like, wow. Like I said, 6ix9ine took
that again.
How do you feel about Alpo saying that Jim Jones reached out to a high-level blood in New Jersey in order about the situation between them two?
Listen, Jim Jones is another motherfucking informant. There's paperwork out here talking about this nigga. If Jim Jones is out here saying whatever the fuck, Why the fuck he didn't say that to Negro's face when he stepped to him? Negro pulled up on him, especially when he did Ghost of Rich Porter.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of him jumping bad and trying to be some fucking gangster that he's trying to portray to you, he gave this nigga dap. He gave Negro dap. And say he got it.
Absolutely.
So anything Jim Jones have to say about Negro, especially now, miss me with it. Because you had opportunity
not Jim.
to check
Pardon
the nigga.
self. Pardon self, not Jim. This was Poe. Poe said Jim Jones, after that situation that happened, Jimmy reached out to a high-level blood in New Jersey, from what I believe, to try to get him hit. But when the hit traveled back to Harlem, the folks said, "No, we ain't fucking with it. We fuck with Poe. We leaving that alone." You know what I'm saying? Now he's supposed to have connections to the Mac Ball of Bloods and some other folks that's in the United Blood Nation. I've been following the blood trail. How do you feel about that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I get what you're saying now, and I'm sorry that I misunderstood your question, but I don't know what to think about that.
Word.
But what I will say, Negro was a smart ass man, and if he had a feeling about anything, that's what the fuck it is. If that's what he felt, he didn't feel like that for no reason. Because anybody could say anything they want about Negro, even in the ratting situation, the snitching situation. But let's look at it. When has he ever lied to you, Jack? Why would he lie to his family about Popperazi Poe? Why? He had more to gain than to lose if you really look at it. Even with the snitching shit, when has he lied? Shout out to DJ K Slay. That was the shit that took off his fucking career, was interviewing Negro. When he was telling the stories about Rich Porter and all this other shit. When has Negro ever lied to you? Hold on. When has Alpo ever lied to anyone?
Yeah,
even when he fucking came out and did that shit with Troy Reed and shit like that. When has he lied to you? Even though people disagree about how he went about it or whatever the case may be. But when has he lied to anyone? He didn't even lie to the fucking feds. When he was in jail, he was doing interviews talking about what the fuck he did. When has he ever lied to you, Jack? That's a saying. I'm sorry. That's, that's a saying. I'm not saying you, Jack, or whatever. But y'all get what I'm saying. When has he ever lied to anyone? And why would he lie to his own family about a so-called potential family member? Why? Even when he was talking to you about the King Ernest situation, whatever the case may be, when has he ever lied about anything he fucking did? When?
No,
everything was consistent. Everything was consistent. The stories never changed. But Popperazi Poe, the story always changed. Always changed. The truth never bends or alters or none of that shit. The truth is always the shit that's consistent. And I interview people for a fucking living, yo. They either, even if they want to give you the short version of the truth or the long, detailed version of the truth, both never changes.
Word.
It never changes, yo. So who the fuck is this nigga?
Word up. Well, as I said before, and I'm gonna say again now, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you clearing.
Salute to everybody in the chat, and salute to you, because you're the only motherfucker that I feel comfortable talking with. All of a sudden, everybody want to do interviews with me, but I'm not doing no fucking interviews with no clown. I'm not. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why I feel like it's necessary for me to say anything, because, like I said before, fuck Negro. This has everything to do with my fucking bloodline, my aunt. my grandmother, Monica, who is innocent. This situation don't just affect Negro, it affects all of us. And while you out here being fucking reckless, spreading lies and shit like that, not only are you tarnishing Negro's legacy, you doing that with the rest of the fucking bloodline. And with that, you are definitely a fucking op, yo. Who are you?
Let these people know where they can find you at.
Live Radio. Cha Mystique. I'm on Instagram, Cha_Mystique, nigga. And on YouTube, Live at Radio. I just posted Sparky D, legendary hip hop first female battle rapper. She went up against Roxanne Shante. DJ Red Alert was her DJ. She talks about the trials and tribulations. She's also coming out with a docu-series, and we had something dope. So tune in with me, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you get all the interviews as we post it. Follow. I'm on Clubhouse as Dr. Cha, because I'm, only reason why it's doctor in front of it, because all these fake ass doctors that be on Clubhouse, we was dancing circles around them, debunking everything they was saying. So I was like, if these niggas is calling doctors, I'm a doctor too. So you can find me as Dr. Cha on Dr. Cha or Cha Cha Live on Clubhouse. You can hear me give my little 2 cents and shit, because that's what I do. I do think tanks. A lot of people will call me a conspiracy theorist. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there looking for, or I overstand knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's my everyday's math. And I'm not even God body, but I know I am a God. So hurry up with my damn massage. Nah, I'm just joking. But I'm dead ass though. That's the type of time I be on. I'm not with this gangster fears and who snitched on who did what to what. That's not my lane. I be in those think tanks. I fucking debate with doctors and lawyers and shit like that. I'm the type that exposes the government. But see, this type of situation is different because now you fucking with my family. So when he was like, oh, it sounds personal. Yeah, it is personal. Keep my fucking family's name out your mouth. And with that, I land.
Salute to you, Queen. Peace. I respect. He said, don't let it in. Somebody say, oh, please. Oh, don't let it in. Listen, man, my neighbor is cutting the grass, man. I got to keep playing with my mic. I wouldn't cut this short if I didn't
I don't got no makeup on, nothing. I look crazy.
You always don't touch me. You always got a bridge here. If you ever need the platform or for whatever reason or my help, just reach out and I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact.
Of course. It's just, and I know you said that before. I didn't reach out. I just have to make sure. It's not something that I could be like, oh, I'm just coming out there and I'm just doing interviews. I'm not doing this shit for clout. And I got to make sure whatever platform that I'm sitting on is valid enough to hear this story. And the fact that Negro trusted you enough with his conversations and things like that, I had to give you that.
Yes, I really appreciate that too.
I had to give you that same honor. Because I know you're not trying to do no fuck shit with his story or twist information or try to make it, something that is not. So I salute you, and I will definitely continue to be supporting you. I like what you're doing. I like this whole alpoology and shit like that. And just keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Because whether you like him or not, even if you have people out there listening that got platforms cursing Alpo out or feeling some type of way about him, do it. Do it. Because all you're doing for us is keeping his memory alive. Do it. And we salute you. Keep telling those fake ass documentaries, because a lot of y'all don't be having y'all shit together. I just want to let y'all know. A lot of y'all really don't be, y'all be way off. And it's funny to us. But it's cool. It's funny to us. But a lot of y'all niggas be way off. The only thing I would suggest really truly do your homework because y'all niggas be off a lot by a landslide. But I respect you because you got your shit together. You got your shit together. And like I said, he thought you was thorough enough to talk to and confide in about certain situations. So I felt the need to reciprocate that. If he could be able to trust you, so can I. And keep, spreading that love, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All the rest of you keep spewing your lies. Keep doing it because all of it is needed. And I respect it all. That's a fact.
I got one more thing for you. PB said, tell us a fond memory, please, before you go, if you will.
I'll tell you about the truck. When he first got the truck, I was last year, because like I said, I'd be exposing the government. So I was in City Hall. I was in City Hall protesting and shit, and you'll be able to see that on my live. I got a green shirt on, right? And my cousin was like, "Yeah, come to the block." And I'm on a train, so I'm like, "I'm on a train. I'm coming back right now, or whatever." I was like, "But I'm sweaty and shit. Like, I don't want to go to the block. Let me go home." So she goes, "Wait, but we're not gonna be out here for too long. Just pull up. Nobody gives a fuck that you sweaty and shit." So I'm like, "All right." I go to McDonald's. I try to do like a little crackhead wash up, little bird wash up, just so I won't be too, because I didn't know. So I go to the block. We chilling, we smoking. I go to my aunt house, try to freshen up and shit like this. I come downstairs, hear this nigga go with this fucking monster truck. Now I gotta tell you, the way the fucking newspaper, the pictures of the truck does not do that shit justice at all. And the only reason why I'm telling you because this is one of the true last conversations that I had with him. This was like in September. I mean, we saw each other in passing, but this was like when really talking. So he pulls up with the truck, and I go, "Damn, nigga, what the fuck that shit is sitting on?" Because the wheels is like at my hip, and then it's even raised even higher from the wheel. And I'm not a car person, so I don't know. And then he goes to truck. So then my cousin, his niece, gets in there and tries to pull it in the fucking parking area and shit like that. But he sees me with my sign and he goes, "That's not gonna work, right?" And I'm like, "What you mean?" He was like, "I know you protesting and I get what you're doing, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway." And I go, I gotta still fight regardless. Like, I gotta try something. I just can't sit here and not do nothing and just complain. I gotta be out there, whether it's protesting or signing petitions, whatever. I just gotta do it. He was like, "I know, ain't nothing wrong with that, but I just gotta let you know, don't be upset when things don't work out." And I was like, "Copy." He was like, "You gotta do what you gotta do for you. Just make sure you okay." And that was it. And then we started talking about the fucking truck. Matter of fact, I'll share you another situation. Because my mother suffered from from addiction, right? So it's four of us. It's me, my sister, and I got two brothers. One of the brothers that I don't know about. One of the other brothers I do know about, but we never really had a relationship like that because he was in a foster care system. So come to find out, he was in jail with my brother's foster brother. So he comes out and was like, "I got in touch with your brother, right?" And I started fucking crying. I was like, "For real, nigga?" I was like, "For real, nigga?" I did this whole fucking. So you hear him talk to his niece talking about, "Go get that girl, please." He was like, "Go get that girl, please." And I'm all boo-hooing, like, "For real? Like, you got in contact with my brother?" All this other shit. Like, we've been looking for him since forever. All this other shit. He was like, "Yeah." So he was like, "Not though because initially I thought it was the brother that I never met. But it turned out to be the brother that I do know, but we don't, because we distant, but he He was like, yeah. He was like, I went to jail with his foster brother. And when he was talking about the situation, I was like, hold up. I think your foster brother is my cousin's son. Which, like I told you, my mother and him were brother and sisters growing up, basically. That's how they grew up with each other. So we did the anniversary, the candle lighting. That was one day. Then fast forward, we was at the candle lighting. We did a candle lighting for my aunt and shit like that. And my brother, the foster brother, everybody was there. He told all of them to pull up. So that was another dope moment. Like, Negro had a heart. I know y'all talking about fucking Alpo, but Negro was extraordinary. He was fucking extraordinary. You would have loved this man to see how everybody would stop what they doing just to be on the fucking block. All the little fucking thoughts be dressed in their Third Avenue best, they rainbow attire, just to fucking be there. That was definitely a fucking sight to see, man. And that's it. That's it. That's it.
Love, peace, and respect. I really, really appreciate you. I see a tear came to your eye. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
because he was a dope ass fucking person, and I get it. But the only thing that shit trips me up is when these young niggas that's like 25, like you wasn't even born. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, shut
Right
up!
on.
Like, you wasn't even there. Like, everybody. But even like I said, even then, that's still keeping his legacy alive. So keep lying. Well, except for Paparazzi Randy, fuck that nigga, cause you playing with my family now. But everybody else keep telling y'all stories, keep making these fake ass documentaries, keep doing all that shit. Cause it's dope to see. I'm like, they talking about my bloodline, like they talking about my family. You know what I'm saying? So looking at this situation from my vantage point is dope to see. You know what I'm saying? It's really dope to see. Yeah.
Well, you dope, and it's dope to see you out here. And respect to you doing your thing. I'm tuned in to you. Let them know once again, please, where they can find your platform. I need y'all to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, everything she said, because she has a dope platform, and I don't think it gets enough views personally. So get over to her page and subscribe.
Yes, please do, and I hope to see y'all. Shout out to all of y'all and salute to everybody. I wish y'all all the best, peace, love, and blessings. And yeah, be better, be better today than who you were yesterday, and keep that same energy every day you move forward. And that's all I had to say. And thank you to you for having me on your platform and being courageous enough to find the truth. Even if you get it wrong a few times, at least you finding it, you out there doing your due diligence to put the truth out there, and you've been the most accurate than anybody else, and I salute you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Queen. Whenever you want to come back, I'm here. I'm always drop that link for you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you again, man. We out of here, y'all. Peace, love,
Yes.
blessings, respect.
Bye. Salute y'all.
Salute.